links are there. History shows that when women stopped cooking at home, it had a massive knock-on effect on the environment and our health, which I'm not going to go into. I'm just going to focus on the environment bit. But do check out the link I provided, a great TED talk, which is actually about something else, about the problems in the environment, but they accidentally talked about what I'm going to say. Okay. When women began taking jobs away from the home, and I basically, as I say working at home is a job, so taking a job away from the home, they cooked less naturally because you can't do everything, and so bought more frozen food. Okay, so you can imagine that's bad for your health, but we won't go into that yet. Which began the industrialization of food. So it started a knock-on effect. Okay, especially the exponential growth in consumption of meat. So I'll just point out meat is an easy food. It tastes good, whatever. You don't have to take much time, and it's kind of what happened. So raising cattle causes amongst the greatest negative effects on the environment, both causing amongst the most greenhouse gases, but also destroying large amounts of rainforest and consuming up to 90% of the water used in a country. So there's a whole bunch of facts there, Silo. Like, have you ever heard of any of these things that I've mentioned about cattle using 90% of the water, causing most of the greenhouse gases in the country, destroying large parts of the rainforest? Ever heard of that before?
Nope. Well,
Okay,
destroying
so
the large parts of the rainforest, yeah, but not everything else.
cool. So yeah, so many people don't know the amazing, incredible damage caused by meat production, and that only started happening when we started eating more meat. We don't need to eat so much meat. Okay, it wasn't natural. Like it isn't natural. Okay, and it only started happening when women started going to work and not really cooking food. Okay, so and so which all leads to desertification. That's another problem. Okay, so people might not know that large amounts of the world are turning into desert because we're not treating the plants properly, especially if you mow them all down. And then I don't want to go into all the craziness that happens on that land where the you know cattle are grown. For example, most of the drugs, or let's say antibiotics, are fed. Most of the antibiotics in the world are fed to those cattle just to keep them going because of the terrible conditions they're brought up in, right? So imagine the kind of meat you're eating, right? Anyway, so some may ask why. Okay, so what was it? Rapidly reducing the resources of the earth. So if you turn the whole earth into desert, you're not going to get much good out of it. You can't you can't farm that area. Anyway, so some may ask why men should not cook at home. Such a question arises from underestimating the already existing specialization of living things in nature. Okay, so when people say why don't men just do those jobs that women have traditionally done, they don't understand how complicated our bodies are. They think it's just they completely underestimate it. This is a good word to it, right? So for example, women's brains change to better take care of babies when they're born. So when when a woman's about to have a baby, her brain is literally changing to do the job of taking care of a baby, right? And like so many people just don't appreciate how specialized we already are. Psychological studies prove men are more interested in mechanical things and women are more interested in people, which makes men better industrialists. And you can see that all the time. Like, who are the best chefs in the world? Men. But who are the main chefs in the house? Women. Okay, it's just a different way of doing things. Industrialization is doing it large scale. Okay, so anyway, the difficulty some people have with that, i.e., men working outside, women staying at home, taking care of children in the house, okay, is that it means that men make more money, which is not a bad thing, unless you value people according to how much money they make, which Islam doesn't. So I haven't given you much time left, but any thoughts?
Well, certain jobs don't actually require physical tasks like programming. There's nothing physical about that. It's mainly just intelligence. So men and women can be equal in that sense.
Right.
And about
Okay.
like women increasing the amount of what do you call it greenhouse gases, that's not necessarily true because there's many other factors as well. Like anyone traveling can cause greenhouse gases. It's not
So
just
you've
women.
made some
And
good
when women
points.
started
Yeah, go on. Go
working,
on.
yeah,
Yeah.
the technology advanced more and we've taken up more greenhouse gases naturally anyways. There's no way it's just affected by women only.
A couple of things because I want to remember what you said, right? So I think the first point you made was like not all work is involves a lot of physical work, right? I didn't actually say physical work, but that's kind of part of the truth, right? Okay, so for example, coding. I'm a coder, and when I was doing my computer science degree, like next to none of the best programmers, like basically none of the best programmers, like the top 20 are all men, right? Okay. Um, and it's about mechanical things like men are more interested in computer games, into computers and things like that. Women just find it really boring. They're more better into people, which is a good thing, right? Anyway, so there's just specialization, and then you said a bunch of other things like yeah, it's true that there's all sorts of other causes of damage to the environment, but this is a massive cause. So we can talk about the other causes. There are other answers for that, but let's move on. Okay, but good.